Hi guys, follow me on Instagram to never ever miss any of my crazy updates. So right now we're driving on the Autobahn and today's video is all about the Autobahn. So first and foremost, let's do the best thing on the Autobahn, which is rev the nuts out of the motor. And there you see the way the engine is able to pull so freely. That's just an Autobahn thing at the end of the day, because there is no speed limit here. Now there's no speed limit here. Well, how does this exactly work? Can you just come to Germany and flat out your car? Well, not quite, because now we have come into a limit of 120 kilometers per hour. But still, I'm going to be talking about the Autobahn. The whole history actually dates back to the fact that Autobahn doesn't necessarily mean German highways. Autobahn in Germany means highways. It could be anywhere. It could be in Switzerland. It could be in Austria or anywhere else in Europe as well. That's like the generic term which is used by Germany to call a highway. Anyways, the German Autobahn is what we're going to be talking about today. And as you can see, cars are flying past by me, because in spite of this road being limited, people drive very fast indeed, and you always overtake from the left. No matter what happens, you will always overtake from the left. You will never ever overtake from any other place, no matter how much the jam. In fact, de-restriction starts right here, which means we get onto the throttle right away. And as you can see, when de-restriction starts, people start driving faster. However, because it is raining right now, people are a bit calm today. The interesting fact here is that, nobody is going to press the horn at all. No one's going to honk ever. Never ever will people honk. No matter what the situation is, people will flash you. You're driving at 250 kilometers per hour, someone will come behind, he will flash you. But that's not going to happen, because people just move away from the left lane as soon as they make their overtake. So you go to the leftmost lane, the first lane actually, to make your overtake, and then you come back, so that it never ever happens that you're blocking the fast lane. The fast lane should not be blocked. Now, obviously, because this is left-hand drive, so you're talking about the left side. In India, it is the right side, which is usually blocked by trucks. Now what do you expect? This is how it happens. One truck there, one truck there, one truck there. There's no way you can overtake from the right side. Now, the good thing about the Autobahn is that it is an endless road network. Now, endless is a bit of an ambiguity here, so I'll put a number there. 13,000 kilometers of road. 13,000 kilometers of road is so much that for a small area like Germany, that it is 30 times as dense when compared to the United States of America and China. United States of America actually has 76,000 kilometers of road. Meanwhile, China has 136,000 kilometers of road. Well, that's a lot. You want to make an overtake? Sure. Come in the leftmost lane and make an overtake. People drive here so well that you're never ever worried at all. No matter how fast you drive, no one's going to jump in your lane when you're in the fast lane, and people look very cautiously before entering the lane. So how does this whole de-restriction actually works? So out of the 13,000 kilometers of road, around 9,000 kilometers are de-restricted, which is around 70%. The rest 30%, around 5% or something, are dynamic limits, which means that they set the limit when they want to and they remove it when they want to. They also have around 9% of these barriers, which electronic limits, wherein they can change the limit when they want. Now the 25% is actually permanently speed limited. Permanent limit, why? Because the de-restriction does not apply in certain areas where they have a history of accidents, or there's too much traffic, or there's an intersection or a turn or something of that sort. So their de-restriction does not apply, and that's where the speed limit is. That's around, to put it into numbers, around 25% of German roads. However, 70%, that's a major chunk of the road is actually de-restricted, which means that people can fly at whatever speeds they want. In fact, I think the record of the top speed on this road happens to be around 450 kilometers per hour, set by, I think, Mercedes-Benz somewhere in the 50s. But it's not always been de-restricted. Time and again, it has happened that there's been a restriction which has been put around the World War to conserve fuel, and then again, because of the oil crisis in 1970s, many countries in Europe actually decided that we should start restricting our roads to conserve fuel. So it was Germany, it was Austria, it was Switzerland, decided to put a speed limit of 100 kilometers per hour. But what happened? Switzerland also had de-restricted roads, so did Austria, but then they decided, after the oil crisis, let's just stick to a speed limit which happens to be 130 kilometers per hour. Meanwhile, Germany also had that limit, but they saw that it was a big problem for them. Because of the speed limit, the economy actually fell. Yeah, the economy declined because of the speed limit. The speed limit that time, I think around 100 or 130 kilometers per hour, did not really bode well for the economy. In fact, sales of cars dropped by 20%. That's a massive drop in terms of sales. Why did this drop in sales happen? Because people stopped buying cars. Obviously, why would people buy cars? There's no reason to buy a car if you can't really drive it, right? So then Germany also decided to lift the limits and de-restrict the roads. Here you can see it's such a beautiful road. It is just endless. And although I'm driving in the leftmost lane right now, since I know I'm driving fast, that's the reason why I'm in that lane. But now I've entered the second lane so that people can actually drive comfortably in the first lane and fly as they want. Now here is it. All of a sudden limit comes. Okay, so now we are down to 120, 180 because I think an intersection is coming. So you have to be really alert. You just cannot get inside a car and be like, oh, fine, let's go. No, it's even more difficult to drive in Germany than it is anywhere else in the world, because unlike other countries where there's a hardcore limit almost every given moment, in Germany the limits keep changing all the time, which means that you have to be alert. You have to, actually calculate how much distance you need to stop, because now we are down to 60 kilometers per hour. So yeah, from de-restriction to 120, 180 and 60 kilometers per hour because work in progress right now. But then they'll speed you up immediately. Now we are going to be at 80 limit, which means that slowly the limit is going to increase as and when we cross this section. And the good thing is here you have road sign information coming on the cluster of this Volkswagen car. It's showing 80 kilometers per hour. This is the most important feature in this car because you don't know when the de-restriction starts. Obviously they have signboards with this marking telling you that no speed limits apply here. However, there's an advisory limit. The advisory limit happens to be 130 kilometers per hour, which means that you should drive at 130 kilometers per hour. But if you want to drive faster, well, it's all up to you. So how exactly does this whole system work? Well, according to the German people, okay, it's free driving for free citizens, which means that they will not apply a speed limit on you. You can drive the way you want. Now, there are other caveats here. If you drive over 130 kilometers per hour and God forbid you are involved in an accident, then the liability on you is much higher. And there's another rule which states that you cannot drive faster than what you can see. So your distance up front should be so much, the speed should be such that you're able to stop in that distance. Yeah, lot of other caveats, just not, okay, get in the car and full sorted. It doesn't work that way. However, getting a license in Germany isn't an easy task. There's a theory test, there's a practical test. It costs upwards of 1.5 lakh rupees and everything is actually done via a instructor. So a driving school will help you with all that and more. How much does the driving school charge? Well, like I told you, it costs around 1.5 lakh rupees. But more than the cost of the license, the bigger problem is that, the instructor will obviously sit with you when you're giving your test. And if you make one mistake, you don't get the license. In fact, they also cancel the licenses super fast. If you overtake from the right and if they spot you, massive penalty. If you're using a mobile phone while driving, massive penalty. And if you stop on the road because you're out of fuel, massive penalty. So Germany actually believes that if you run out of fuel, it is something which is preventable. It's because of your stupidity and you're going to get a fine for the same. In fact, if your car breaks down, you have to park it in the rightmost lane. You have to put a warning triangle. You have to get into your high visibility jacket as well. That is the level of madness, honestly. In 1972, sales dropped after 111 days of speeding bans, or rather speed limit enforcement. And that actually resulted in drop in sales by around 20%. Now, obviously, why would anyone buy a car if they want to drive it at 100 kilometers per hour? That's the whole reason why Mercedes and BMW and Audi make such fast cars with multiple cylinders as well. Anyways, that unfortunately happened, which ate into the sales, and that's why I have three theories, actually three very interesting theories. You actually just move to the right lane, don't be in the fast lane unless and until you're making an overtake, and people just dive right in to the second lane or the third lane as soon as they make their overtake. Right now, because the road is de-restricted, you see, people can drive very fast. Unfortunately, it's raining so much right now that water is spraying all over. In fact, there's more water spraying from the trucks as well as the cars than it is coming from the top right now. So it becomes really difficult. And talking about water spray and all, it is mandatory for you to have snow tires and winter tires in the winter. If you do not have it, then you will be fined, and the fines are so heavy, not only monetarily but also in terms of getting your license banned. So people are extremely careful with the same as well. Here I dive into the second lane, leave the first lane, leave the fast lane, so that Audis, BMWs and Mercs can fly by as they wish. So I have three very interesting theories. First and foremost, okay, if they remove the speed limit, the economy will go down.
If anybody's gonna take that bitch down, it's gonna be me.
That's the reason why they're not putting speed limits across Germany, because it affects the economy. How does it affect the economy? Just imagine person A, okay? He is driving in Germany, which means that he doesn't have a speed limit to adhere to, which means that he can reach his destination much faster, which means that he saves a lot of time by traveling faster and driving faster. That time can be used productively with family, with friends, in work, and motivate him further to actually do a lot better in life. Now, of course, when he does a lot better in life, he earns more money. When he earns more money, he spends that money somewhere or the other, and that indirectly comes to the government in the form of taxes. So yes, the government also gets a boost in terms of having more money to develop the country. That's one of the theories. Then I have another theory. Okay, when you drive the car faster, you do more kilometers, certainly, and with more kilometers, you want to buy a newer car sooner, which means that the sales of cars will keep increasing because people drive more and then they want to get rid of their old cars. That has another theory to it, because once you start driving faster and you're doing more kilometers, then you want a newer car sooner, which means that companies need to hire more people to develop newer cars in order to excite the buying audience, which therein makes companies hire more people, which in turn affects the economy. You see how this is going? You understand the chronology of all this? It's purely how Germany has absolutely nailed it by not enforcing speed limits. But this, I don't know, it's going to last till when, because time and again more places are getting speed limits in Germany, and a lot of political pressure here and there. They keep fighting. They've been fighting since a long time about enforcing nationwide speed limits, but that's not happened because the opposition is extremely strong. But what really backs the whole fact of not having a speed limit is the fact that accidents in Germany are on par with accidents everywhere else in the world where there are speed limits. So there is no speed limit here on the road I'm driving right now. I can do 350 kilometers per hour if I have a car as capable as that one. Now this is the tricky part, okay? All of a sudden we drop to 120 kilometers per hour, which means that you have to be very alert what's happening around you. Okay, you just can't step on the brakes because someone might be coming fast and somebody might not have noticed the same. So that's another tricky situation here. So if you're planning to drive in Germany, first and foremost, don't get a very fast car. Get a moderately quick car. In fact, in Germany, almost every car is fast because the roads are that kind. The people drive really fast, and you really need a very fast and capable car to drive here. Otherwise, you are in big trouble. So if you're going to be driving on the Autobahn for the very first time, do not come on this road and just go hard under the throttle. A lot of videos have made it look very scary, but the Autobahn isn't as scary as it appears as long as you're in the second or the third lane, because cars fly in the firstmost lane, the leftmost lane, and when they do at great pace. Okay, you can be flashed at 300 kilometers per hour from behind, because that is the speed at which cars actually drive, and that is the reason why the German auto industry is so well developed, because they need cars which can maintain high speeds, and that's why the cars are expensive as well. Now the rightmost lane is usually occupied by trucks, and if there's an intersection which is say around after 5 kilometers as well, and there's a jam here, nobody will actually go from the first two lanes and be like, aage jaake andar dive maar lete. Nobody does that. People maintain their lanes. In fact, around the corners as well, the speed limit is ludicrous. It's around 100 kilometers per hour on a full tight, turn, and like this road is going inside, which might just circle around to put you on an alternate route. Speed limit happens to be 100 kilometers per hour there as well. That's absolutely insane. When you go on to country roads, they are de-restricted as well with a deer sign saying that, deer can cross anytime, be careful, but they are de-restricted there as well. Absolute madness how Germany is able to maintain all this and more. Wow. And there starts the de-restriction. So on the throttle, here we go. So the theory here is that around 3,000 accidents happened in Germany last year, I believe. Okay, an increment of around 90 accidents when compared to the year prior. What was the reason for the accidents? Germany did a proper research. The reason was cyclists and of course e-scooters, not cars on the road, which begs the question that why don't more countries also de-restrict the roads? Well, at least the straight should be de-restricted. I think driving slow is more harmful. I'll tell you why. Okay, in the United States, a lot of accidents happen because people go to sleep. The roads are arrow straight in the US. Okay, they are absolutely arrow straight, and the speed limit is around 65 miles per hour. They follow the miles per hour thingy. 65 miles per hour equates to around 130 kilometers per hour. Actually, 110, 120 kilometers per hour, somewhere between that. It is so boring to drive in the US that you can absolutely go to sleep. And when you sleep, you obviously collide with another car on the road. So speed limits can actually be harmful. the limit in USA is a joke, absolutely. But then again, they have not made the road properly. Only the curvature is on the wrong side completely. So that is one problem with US roads. Anyways, here we are onto the gas. Absolute madness. This country's roads are such a treat. Okay, I would have been doing almost double the speeds, and trust me, I would have been in the second lane and thousands of cars would be passing by if it wasn't raining. But because it's pouring right now, okay, I am helpless right now. Anyways, coming into the second lane because I believe some cars coming fast enough. And yeah, these signboards, they can be changed because they're electronic ones. So I actually have a theory. The theory is simple, okay? The German government wants people to drive fast so that they save time, they're more productive, and they spend more money, because then obviously the whole economy turns around the fact that people are going to buy more cars, they're going to be more productive, they're going to do better stuff, they're going to pay more taxes, and that taxes payment actually happens more in terms of fuel cost as well, because the fuel cost is obnoxiously high, rupees 100 per litre for normal fuel, not the ethanol kind, that is slightly lower, rupees 100 per litre. And if you're going to opt for 98 octane, so normal fuel, I'm talking about 95 octane, I don't think 91 octane is available here at all. Meanwhile, if you happen to opt for 98 octane, that is around 115 rupees per litre. That's how expensive fuel is here. So the faster you drive, the more you consume, the more taxes you pay. Kona ko dekho, kone mein ghus gayi.
It's her choice.
And off we go. Yeah, that's about it. So, you know, with time, obviously limits are being enforced. So if you have not driven in Germany, I think this is actually the right time to do it before some crazy politician says, you know what, we need to enforce speed limits here. But the opposition is so strong, and the whole effect negatively on the economy by having speed limits is so drastic that that's not going to happen anytime soon. So guys, this was a short vlog of the Autobahn, the German Autobahn, the best road in the world to drive on because of no speed limits. But then you also need to have a lot of skill set to drive here. If you think the tunnels are long here for driving a car, well, you need to sit in a train because the tunnels are so massive. Kilometers per kilometers, the tunnels keep going on and on and on and on. That's how massive the tunnels are. But you know, as soon as you get out of the tunnel, you realize that the road is so freaking smooth. But you know, Germany is not all about smooth roads. Some places the road isn't as smooth as you would expect. However, the roads are just so freaking fast, or rather the cars are so fast, you can drive so fast here that you save a lot of time. You're able to cover so many kilometers as well. In fact, you know, when we initially came to Germany, the plan was to, you know, one day stay at Stuttgart, one day at Munich, one day at Nürburgring, around that area. But you don't need to. You can stay wherever you want and you can travel everywhere because things are so fast here. In fact, it's taken us around 3 hours to reach Stuttgart, which is a lot of time. But then today the weather wasn't perfect and road constructions and, you know, not much de-restricted sections. Anyways, we're going to be reaching Stuttgart anytime soon. The beauty of the German Autobahn is in the fact that, okay, first let's listen to the engine here all the way till the red line. The beauty obviously lies in the fact that there are no toll booths whatsoever. Okay, in spite of such great roads, actually roads are not that great because, you know, they're a little bumpy. However, you know, in spite of no speed limits and the massive road network, they do not charge you any toll whatsoever. That is indeed a beauty of the German Autobahn. Absolutely stunning. What a road, what an experience driving on this particular road indeed. Anyways, as you can see, even in the night you don't have to worry. You can go full throttle out without any hesitation whatsoever, in spite of the fact it was raining in the morning. Now it stopped raining for a brief moment and the whole road is dry because the cars run at such speed they dry out the road very quickly indeed. However, the road is so windy that unless and until you have a very stable car, well, you're going to have a bit of a problem driving it hard and fast, because you can feel the movement, you can feel the car moving around a bit as well, especially a crossover SUV sort of a thing. Meanwhile, I have seen so many videos of people driving on the Autobahn hitting speeds of more than 300 kilometers per hour without any hesitation, without even worrying about the people in the second lane thinking that, you know, they might dive in. No, they will not. They stay in their lane. That is the beauty of the German Autobahn. And in the night, I don't know how much you can see, but I am super confident right now, full throttle, going flat out here. And I know not only will the car do brilliantly well at these speeds, like we are hitting almost top speed, the best thing here is the fact that, you know, yeah, that the road is indeed very safe as well. This is the German Autobahn for you. If you like this video, you know what you have to do. Give it the thumbs up. That's a like button. And also subscribe to the channel. I will see you guys in the next video real soon. Bye-bye.